In this class we're going to talk about project management body of knowledge. More specifically, we're going to look at the 9 knowledge areas required by the project team. So project management emphasizes the importance of 9 areas, and we're going to look at these. I'm going to start by just stating what the 9 areas are, and then later in the slides we'll get on to looking at them in a little more detail. So let's just state what the 9 knowledge areas are. These are seen as very important within project management, and we should understand what these are if we're to understand the role of project management and the need for project management. So let's just state them for a start. We begin with scope management, then quality management, cost management, contract management or procurement management, time management, risk management, human resource management, communications management, and product integration management. Now these are 9 areas that are seen as extremely important, and it's important that we spend a little time talking about each of them. So I'm going to just run over each one of these in a few slides in the remaining parts of this video. I'm going to start with scope management. So identify the need for the project and key outcomes the project will achieve. It's crucial that the project is aimed at achieving something, and that target is understood by the project team. If it's not focused in this way, projects tend to drift, they tend to move around, and there seems to be confusion within teams. It seems to manifest itself in confusion or duplicated effort or wasted effort. It's important that there is clarity at the start. What are the objectives? What's the project attempting to achieve? What are the key outcomes of the project? It's important to define the project. What is the project exactly? So have a good definition of the project. Look at its objectives. What's it trying to achieve? And what activities need to be completed? So it's not just looking at the objectives, what's required from the project, but also how will the objectives be achieved? What activities must be undertaken to bring about successful outcomes? An outline of the resources and expertise required to complete the project. Right at the start, within scope management, has the business got the capacity to undertake this project? What resources are required? What expertise, what skills are required to complete the project? And a statement of these is very important. Once all of this is done, then the scope management part of the project document will not just state what the outcomes should be, but also what activities need to take place and the ability of the business to undertake this project, a statement of resources. So scope management is very important. Now quality management. Well, stating project quality standards and metrics through policy documentation. It's important that quality standards are defined. It's not really acceptable to simply say the project will have good quality. A definition of quality, metrics, that the tolerances will be such and such, the time scale will be such and such, the durability of the product will be whatever. These sort of statements are important, and if they can be quantified, all the better. So a statement of quality standards and metrics, and enter this into the documentation associated with the project. Ensuring the project is meeting set standards and guidelines as the project progresses. It's important that the project is aligned with set standards, that the project team understand what's required in terms of quality outcomes and they work to meet those. Not that quality is just a byproduct of their activities. Quality is something that they positively strive for. So it's important that the project meet set standards and guidelines as the project is running. The project is meeting the expectations of the person that initiated it. That's important. Some person, it may be a departmental head within a business or one of the senior management or whoever instigated the project, their expectations should be met. This is what they anticipate and this is what they want. Now, cost management. Project costs are calculated and a budget is set up to initiate the project. So there must be cost management. There must be how much will the project cost, how will the disbursements take place, how will the payments take place, over what period. It's important that there is a good budgeting system established for the project and that it is reasonable and fair that the project can be achieved within that budget. It's vital that the project team remain within budget because that's what's been allocated, that's what's been resourced by the business, let's say. The business has set up this project, the business is financing the project. It doesn't want costs to escalate because it'll eat into other activities of the business. Monitoring systems should be in place to ensure projects progress while remaining within budget. So there should be a good system of monitoring costs, items purchased for the project, time spent on the project, key personnel, additional training which may have to be bought in, prototyping, whatever is required. There should be good budgeting procedures and it should be being accounted for right at the start and then monitored as the project runs. So the monitoring process keeps the project within budget. Next, contract management or procurement management. Management of hire and purchase of materials, equipment, training and other resources as required by the project scope. It's important to have good management of the materials that are going to be used in the project, the equipment, any additional training that the staff need, the particular types of staff involved on the project, matched up with their skills, abilities, experiences, competencies, looking at what they can do in the context of the project and why they're associated with the project, why they've been picked to be associated with the project. So management of all of these is important and there should be a good managerial statement and good managerial control over these issues. Monitoring expectations of subcontractors and ensuring project meets quality and cost standards. If resources are bought in from subcontractors, then the resources should be monitored carefully for quality. They should also ensure good value for money. So there is a purchasing component in project management. Time management. Well, the aim of the project is to achieve objectives by a set deadline. Project management has a start time and a finish time. It's not open-ended. It doesn't run forever. The projects have limited time periods. So the project only runs within that period, and it must achieve its objectives within that time frame. Using Gantt charts, scheduling, work breakdown structures to ensure projects are working towards set deadlines. So it's important that whatever tools management have to control projects are brought to bear to ensure that the project is being progressed and that it's developing in accordance with expectations as set out perhaps on a Gantt chart. That different parts of the project have been completed by certain times, and therefore the overall project is likely to be completed by the finish date as expected. The use of timing to ensure resources and opportunities are effectively utilized. It's important there's good time efficiency. It's important that all the resources are used effectively and that the personnel and the machinery and the equipment, whatever's been used within the project, is all being used effectively. Next, risk management. The setting of contingency plans to ensure the project can continue in the event of any disruptions. Projects always face risk. Sometimes issues are not properly foreseen at the start, or there may be issues about delivery of raw materials, or people may have problem in completing particular tasks because they've not been adequately trained, or something unforeseen. Well, there should be contingency plans in the event of these happening, so that the project is not slowed down. So right at the start, there should be some effort put into looking into risk management. Next, unforeseen risks and their severity for the project. Unforeseen risks are ones which just crop up, and they may be devastating for the project. But trying to anticipate these in advance is always a good idea. Trying to anticipate what can go wrong and having some sort of plan in place that should this arise, then the fallback position is whatever. So trying to foresee what the risks are. High-risk projects must be carefully reviewed for risks, as these projects will incur higher costs. So it depends on the nature of the project, but some projects may have high risks built in, and therefore more contingency planning will be required, and this in turn will mean more detailed planning, more resources, perhaps a bigger budget. So the project itself will be more expensive because there are higher risks anticipated. Human resource management. Well, ensuring the right candidates are employed with the right skills to perform necessary tasks within the project. It's a fairly obvious thing to say, but the right candidates should be selected. The ones with the appropriate skills and competencies, with the appropriate experiences, these are the ones who are more likely to bring the project to fruition. Employee progress must be monitored, such as performance management. So it's important to look at the performance of the team and how the performance match up to what was expected. If it doesn't match up to what was expected, then what's the reason? What's causing the problem? What's causing the issue that's holding back the team from achieving what was anticipated? What's going on? And For that reason, there should be good monitoring, good intervention, timely intervention, and supportive intervention, so as to maintain the morale of the team as well. It could be performance appraisals are used, so that the line management will report within the project, will report to the project manager, and they will work out statements of what they can do and the timescales they're going to deal with it, and they can be measured against what was agreed at the meeting. And the line management in turn may have meetings with the operators on the line and also agree targets and what will be achieved in certain timescales. So performance appraisals may be a way of driving the project forward. There's certainly a need for training and development. If the project is new, if it's doing something innovative, the chances are additional training and development will be required for the team. There's also an issue of discipline, and by that we mean because the project is unique, there may be misunderstandings about what is required and the amount of effort or the amount of detail or the attention to quality that's required. And this should be driven home. It should be explained to the workers in great detail, so that they develop their own discipline of work, which reflects good quality and it also meets the time schedule that's agreed. Communications management. Well, successful projects require regular and continuous communication. There should be good communication within the project team. The project manager should feed back comments to the team, keep them posted of any changes, keep them posted of progress and where they are compared to what was planned at the outset. But also, the communications should be the other way. Members of the project team should be able to pass comments to the project manager about the way in which the project is run, areas that could be improved, areas that are failing, and so on. So it's a two-way process. All members within the project must be fully informed and briefed regarding the brief that they've got. So in other words, the work should be explained in detail to all members of the project team. They should know exactly what's required of them. And once they know exactly what's required, what their duties are, then it's a question of communicating the more macro issues about where the project has got to, what issues have been encountered and how they've been dealt with, and it's general communications. But the individual members of the team know what their tasks are. Formal communications channels such as emails, meetings, virtual, say online or face-to-face, memos, newsletters, bulletin boards, etc. Use whatever is most appropriate, whatever the team use most and they're most familiar with. So use that medium to communicate and ensure that there is a two-way communications, that the team is also, the project team are able to feed back to the project manager issues that they see as important. Project integration management. Well, ensuring there is a smooth integration of project within the organization. At the end, when the project is complete, the project must be aimed at doing something. So if it was a project that was going to introduce a new product or improve production within a production system or improve communications within the company, whatever the project was, it should now be implemented, but smoothly implemented without any problems. So, for example, the integration of new software management system, there should be adequate training, there should be a gentle approach to introducing it, it should be phased in to give the staff time to adjust to it and become confident with its use. So it should be phased in over a period of time. Management must ensure facilities are in place to allow the integration of new systems within the organisation. It would be pointless if the management were to sponsor a project which then came to fruition, it was completed and it was found to have positive results, but there was no place within the organisation to build it in. There was no room, no capacity to build it in. So in other words, the project was for nothing. It was just a project. The project should be aimed at achieving something. Its results should be useful to management. And that means if it's a project that can be implemented in some way within an organisation, then there should be room for its implementation because it will yield benefits to the organisation. So it should be integrated smoothly. And that's all we're going to deal with in this session. These 9 areas are important. It's worth making a note of these and knowing exactly what they mean. So it is important. But let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.